Morning, guys. We had the most disappointing storm of all time yesterday. We couldn't even, we were so disheartened we didn't even want to vlog about it. It was all ice and freezing rain and rain until apparently after we went to sleep, and then it snowed a little bit and then stopped and froze over. So it's a nice little crunchy crust. So hopefully the next one's a little bit better for us anyway. But I'm glad for everybody up north who got a little bit of snow. That's really, really cool. Just kidding. Hate you guys. Of all Mango's tracks. So I think in the night she comes to check and see if we're gonna let her out or see if or let her in. And so we've got a couple sets of tracks going under the shed. We've got a couple that just lead underneath that table and a couple that go underneath the car. It's so cute. If only there was another foot or two of snow. Why am I giggling?
This is a perfectly acceptable outdoor look.
Oh.
2 buttons are done, so that means I'm gonna be warm.
Very professional.
You just sleep here, Mango. Don't mind us.
Yeah, don't get yourself all worked up. We're just gonna go get the mail.
We're outside! It's so foggy and icy and cold.
And we're a little worried about the water. We're doing some laundry, and sometimes when it rains, or I guess if there's a snow melt going, it kind of discolors our water a little bit. I don't know what the correlation there is, but there's some kind of correlation with that.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was so melty outside now. But wait, already done.
So misty.
So misty.
Misty cabin. We have a mystery package.
There it is. It's well wrapped.
Is it another wedge color?
Oh God. I don't know what it is.
Weird.
It's unmarked.
Huh.
Okay. Dead man into pajamas.
Putting a dead man in pajamas?
Yeah. I don't know about that. Mango likes it. I'm trying to put this cover on, Mingy. Can you free yourself? Okay, good job. What kind of sites your phone keeps directing you to, but this pillow is not
what you'd call high quality.
right, exactly. I was like,
well, and it sucks because the last 2 times that we have ordered stuff from small businesses, which we'd like to support, I appreciate that Amazon's profits have shot up by 100% during this pandemic, and that's great for them, but it's not so great for a lot of small businesses.
yeah.
We'd love to support you, small businesses, but when something takes 2 or 3 months to get here, it doesn't reinforce the tendency to want to not shop on Amazon when it gets here in 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, I know they don't really have control over people delivering things, but it's like, it didn't take 2 to 3 months for it to get delivered. It was like you weren't putting it in the box or wrapping it like a terrorist bag. It was weird, but Mango is not a fan. She is
more of a fan of the fire.
Yeah.
I think I know what this is though. Yep.
Haha!
5 terabyte hard drive. I think 5 terabytes ought to cover it. You'd think so. I thought 2 terabytes was going to cover it, and I got messaging that my iCloud is out of storage, and I went to upgrade it, and they're like, that was our top plan. So it's all going on here. So I'm going to put all the pictures that I have, all the pictures and videos that I've made so far onto here, and then just wipe the deck and start over. And, you know, I think that might help my stuff run a little bit better too.
Sounds good.
Just going to bring this up to Christina, who is resting upstairs. This is a trick with high achieving people. She asked me just now, am I an invalid? I was like, no, you're just, you know, resting for the first time in your life. Spicy.
I don't like resting.
I know. All right, I'm going to take you through how we're refinishing our American Walnut Butcher Block countertops. And so to start with today, I'm gonna get this process started. So I'm using Phineas Rose. It is an oil, I believe it's tung oil with some citrus, lemongrass, and other solvents mixed into it. You need the solvents to get the oil to penetrate the wood. And when applied with repetition, it eventually fuses itself to the wood, becomes a part of it. And that acts as a barrier to moisture or stains or really anything. So what you need for this, you're gonna need a mask, because it's gonna be dusty. You're gonna do some sanding. So you need a mask, you need some eye protection, which I'll get. You need sanding blocks. First, I'm gonna sand it with 120 grit sandpaper. I'm then gonna vacuum up all the dust, and then I'm going to wet it and wait for it to dry. And then I'm gonna sand it again with 180 grit. I'm going to vacuum the dust up from that. Then I'm going to apply my oil. And the instructions for this say you're going to use some wet dry sandpaper, and you're going to put the oil on, and you're going to sand the oil into the countertop. From there, you're going to wipe up all the excess. We're going to let it stand 24 hours. We're going to let it stand probably more than that. We'll probably let it stand at least 72 hours. Then we're going to sand it again, apply more oil, and then wipe off the excess and let it sit for a week and let it cure. So I think that, you know, there's a possibility we may do another sanding after that. I think at a certain point it gets a little ridiculous. We're not trying to produce fine woodworking. We're just trying to make a butcher block countertop resilient. So we may stop at the 320 grit, but we also have 400 grit. So we may go as high as that. But the instructions on this tell you to go all the way up to 1200 grit. And we're just not doing that. That would take weeks and weeks and weeks. So I'll take you through all the steps, and we'll do it together. That's step 1 and step 2 done. So I got a sand with the 120 grit sandpaper. I've now wet the wood to raise the grain. I'm gonna wait for this to dry. And while we're waiting, let's just talk about this for a second. I haven't sanded anything like this before ever. You know, I remember sanding stuff with my dad when I was a little kid, but I just don't do a lot of it. And one of the questions I had going into this was like, well, when do I know when I'm done sanding? Like, is there too much sanding? How am I going to know how to proceed through this? And it's really, really easy. You can feel the roughness of the wood just kind of melting away. And when it goes really smooth and there's very little resistance, then you know you can go to the next spot. And there's really nothing more to do there. So really simple stuff, I know. But stuff that I think if you're a complete novice or a complete newbie to this kind of work, you know, these are the kind of questions that you have. These questions I had. Again, no problem. And in fact, this was a little easier for me to tell what was being sanded and what was left to sand. This is much, much smoother than it was before I sanded it. And it's really obvious where those little patches that maybe didn't get quite all the way, where those patches are, it's really easy to tell. And so now we're ready for phase 3, which is actually applying the oil. So we're gonna apply the oil and sand it in with 220 grit wet dry sandpaper. And also the concerns we have, we don't want to touch the paint on the wall, even though everything you see here up to probably about right here is going to be backsplash. So this lime wash for this level is temporary. So we're not too worried about it. We just don't want to be staring at obvious flaws for the next, I don't know how long, a couple months. Oh, and the holdup on that is that Christina needs to be able to actually reach the wall because of her tummy, and she has real trouble with that. So after we have the kid, then we're gonna push and get that part done. So until then, we need to try to be as friendly to the lime wash as we possibly can, and we'll do our best.
We're gonna use the paintbrush to make sure that the oil does not get on the lime wash, which is the wall. So that's what we're doing now, and then we'll do the wet sanding thing that Gabe just talked about.
Now, there is a small margin for error here in that, like, while we don't want to touch the wall, I explained the backsplash to everybody. There is going to be tile over this part and caulking, so it's not.
Yeah, it's just not going to be immediate. It's a 1 day tile slash while the caulking is coming.
Right. Yeah.
There they are, guys. Check it out. First coat of oil is on, and look how much darker it is. It's great. Look at that. It's gonna be really, really nice when this is done. Really looking forward to seeing that finished product. Yeah, it's at nighttime, and that was our last job of the day. So we'll shut it down for tonight. Thank you as always for watching it, and we'll see you tomorrow.